This style of jacket is the ultimate utility jacket, basically styled after military field jackets. 1943, they came up with what would become one of the best designs in jackets in pretty much human history, you could say, because it went on to spawn a bunch of other types of jackets, just like this one, which you could say is styled more after like a bell staff field master with the doubled up shoulders and elbows, slanted left pocket with the upright right pocket. This design is very much reminiscent of the bell staff fieldmaster. And of course, we should take note of the M65, which is probably the most popular field jacket within this kind of a range of jackets. 100% cotton, those were and currently are. They're still in production today. Mine is a cotton nylon blend. This is 5941 cotton nylon. It is essentially a cordura kind of material. That's obviously just a trademark name, kind of using it just as a reference point. So while this video is not about this jacket specifically, we will have to use this jacket to kind of go through the features of what a good field coat or a utility kind of jacket, travel jacket, whatever you want to call it. These style of jackets are just super versatile, and this one specifically is one of the best ones I've come across. I've owned a bunch of different types of field jackets and utility jackets, namely the M65, also like a couple of more fashion related ones like J. Crew and Old Navy. Thanks. But yeah, I've owned a bunch of different field jackets. I've gone through several of them. I've moved pretty much all of them on, except for this one, which I just acquired recently, which is a surprising name, Banana Republic. It's usually not the type of brand I would have thought of to get a field jacket from, although I did buy this secondhand for like 20 bucks on eBay. But this was a very good deal. This is not a $20 jacket in my opinion. Any company that's making a jacket similar to this level of quality, and we'll go through the details here to show you exactly why it's quality. Any company making these level of jackets would probably retail them for like $300, I imagine, even more, especially if it's a kind of company out of, you know, Japan, making replicas of old US Army jackets. I suppose we can come into the shade to look over these details. Let's start from the top. Depending on the kind of collar you want, this one is kind of a stand collar. The name speaks for itself. It's not a mandarin collar. Pause. And here I want to mention that a lot of jackets that are field jacket style will have the zipper back here for hoods. Most people don't even use the hoods on those things, and some field jackets will even have maybe snaps or some kind of zip or hook and loop feature to attach a hood to the jacket. So whatever your preference may be, that is another thing to think about. Mandarin colors are usually about half that size. It has the throat latch with a buckle here. This takes a little while to do up. Just to note, different jackets have different styles of latches. A lot of them use hook and loop, or as you might know it, Velcro, the brand name. Those are a little bit easier, but a little bit less refined looking. So think about kind of what you want in your jacket, because you can have a jacket that looks both refined and rugged and utilitarian at the same time, in my opinion. 100% cotton lining. Think about the lining you want. Usually you don't want synthetics for lining material, especially if you're getting a waxed utility jacket. Wax jackets will be less breathable by nature because of the wax, so you'll want the most breathable lining between the body of the jacket and your body. This one specifically is a Banana Republic Plus Tailoring Plus Performance water resistant outwear, and it is water resistant as it says, and it's water resistant because of the nature of the nylon in this material. Cotton nylon blends are very popular, especially in military and durable applications where you might need a lightweight but rugged material, as well as it being a water resistant material, because naturally the nylon in there does help repel water. It's water resistant. Of course, it's not going to protect you in a monsoon or anything like that. That's exactly why I wanted a cotton nylon blend, because those two materials together just make magic, in my opinion. In terms of durability, this is a lightweight material, probably like 6 ounces, I would say, but certain parts are doubled up, as well as the cuffs. Right, pause. Again, cuffs. This is another thing to think about. What kind of cuffing system do you want? This is actually gusseted, so there's an extra piece here. So this one has a snap feature on it, like the rest of the jacket. You just snap the cuff. And the good thing about these kind of cuffs that allow you to open them up is you can also pull your layers right on through there, and it lets you, it's a lot easier to wear the jacket. Anything that makes it easier makes you want to throw it on whenever possible. And the slickness of the material on the inside, this is a polyester. I would prefer something other than polyester that's smooth like this, but that does work, and it is another thing to think about. And collar having corduroy lining, pocket flap. The inside of the bottom pockets is cotton lined with like a cotton drill, nice and soft. Hand warmer pocket on the side there. Not all field jackets will have the hand warmer pockets attached to there, so a lot of people will use these ones to just reach in and or to just kind of put their hands in. It does work nicely, but most people prefer having hand warmer pockets, so that's something to think about when looking for one yourself. The snaps, good snaps are important, especially on a jacket where snaps are very prominent. These are spring-loaded snaps, which most snaps I believe today should be, because they're just super useful. They're easy to snap, requires little force, but they're also very strong unless you're intentionally trying to unsnap it. I'm doing this with one hand, so it's not, well, like that, you know? Many vintage jackets that maybe started using snaps will have like an older style of snap that's kind of hard to snap on, especially when it comes to your body. Like you have layers on underneath the jacket and you're trying to snap it onto your body. A lot of the time with vintage jackets, it might be a bit harder, but I don't think it's really an issue for the vast majority of field jackets that you'll come across. This jacket in particular has these little loops behind the snap, which is amazing because after you have the jacket on, you have all your layers on underneath. A lot of the time, and you know, it's not an issue with these spring-loaded snaps, but with other types of snaps, you might not be able to snap it so easily on your body. You're pressing into the layers and it's like, oh man, I can't, it's not snapping. But with this, you put your finger back there and it's just magic. Very easy to do. It's also bar tacked on either side of that, so when you're pulling the snap off and there's pressure being applied, it's not going to tear the material because of this bar tacking. So I really have to commend Banana Republic. Whoever designed this jacket had a lot of good design cues in mind. This was an intentionally well-made jacket, in my opinion. On the inside you have this, which is ironically, as I was talking about well-made things, this is probably the best elastic kind of rope I've ever felt, which is not something I've ever thought about before, because I've owned field jackets with the elastic inside and usually it feels cheap, but I never really thought twice about it because it worked and I've never had them break on me. But this is like thick, durable rope. Very easy to tighten up in the waist, which I think is an important feature on jackets like this because they are longer jackets, and you'll get a more tailored looking fit, a more intentional looking fit on your body if you have these side cinches to use. In older field jackets, like military issued ones, it'll be cotton. They'll use like a cotton rope instead of elastic, and when you put those on, you have to tie it up every time on your body together to get that tapered effect. So that's just something to think about when it comes to style, fashion. If you don't want to have to tie up a rope every time you put your jacket on, think about a jacket that has elastic, or you can probably put elastic in those kind of jackets yourself. Here's some details about this jacket specifically. These are all over eBay and like Grailed and Mercari. So I would definitely check out the description. I've probably linked to these jackets because honestly, I highly recommend it. I'm typically a size anywhere I say in my other videos, from a small to a large. It really depends. Truly depends. YKK number 8 zippers. These are pretty hefty, heavy duty zippers, double zip, so you can unzip it from the bottom, which to me is an important feature on long jackets. If you're gonna have a zipper that runs down the full length of a long jacket like this, it's about 29 inches. So it's not super long, but it is long enough to where a double zipper is gonna be super handy. You can unzip it a little bit from the bottom to be able to sit down or do whatever you need, get to your belt line for, reasons. The number 8 is entirely appropriate with this suede pull tab, really nice. Branded on the bottom one with Banana Republic. Most jackets will have a number 5 zipper, although most field jackets, especially military issued field jackets, will have a number 10, which is a heftier zipper than this. It won't be a double zip, but it won't run down the full length of the jacket either. It stops. So zippers are something to think about, whether you want metal or nylon kind of plastic zippers. I prefer metal all the time. A lot of people do like the plastic zips on military field jackets, and though the plastic ones are on the more modern jackets. They're lighter. People say that they're quieter. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true, but it could be, because I've also experienced that plastic zippers can be louder, and metal ones can get quieter over time. Plackets, a lot of plackets will be zigzag stitched for more kind of rigidity in the material. For this one, they put a bunch of stitches going downward, which is nice. It does make it more rigid. Both plackets have that. That's another thing to take note of and to think about, in my opinion, is details like that. Just think about the small details on the jacket that you're going for, because this is one of those jackets that can essentially last you a lifetime. And yeah, I understand. This is a fashion brand essentially, but knowing what I know about materials, this is such a good jacket. There's the back with these nice vents. A lot of jackets that have ventilation will use kind of simple eyelets, kind of like the one we saw on the inside here for the elastic. But this uses like legit vents, which looks cool, looks good. Seems functional because they're also larger, one on each or two on each side. Something to think about as well, seams. If you want a waterproof jacket, and this one is not, it's water resistant, you want to think about where the seams are at, especially on like waxed cotton jackets, because that will be the weak spot on where water comes in, on seams like this around the top and around the shoulders. For my purposes, this nylon cotton blend is water resistant enough. I think it works really well. I actually took it out into like a 22-degree snow yesterday. Corduroy on the cuffs and collars, as mentioned. These help with both durability and comfortability. You can also fold them outward if you want for that extra swag, I guess. The corduroy is nice. Top pockets lined on the lip with corduroy, which is really nice. That's another detail. Like, I don't think this material on its own, especially with this stitching like this, I don't think it would really like start to fray or anything, but I think this just gives it more rigidity and structure at the top. It is a smart design move. And as I feel inside here, these top ones are unlined compared to the bottom ones, which have the cotton drill. This kind of smooth nylon, how these jackets are made, the nylon is the weft and the cotton is the warp. So if you ever find the underside of it, you can feel more nylon, which is where that's mostly at. And the top side is just like this. It is a cottony, like velvety feel. It feels so nice. It feels luxurious even, I would say.